welcome to Spoonie Style. I'm Melanie, your Spoonie Style guide. And today we're talking about how to travel light and all of the gadgets that will help make your life easier. This is one of my favorite topics, and I've reserved this one for a while because I know that a lot of us as Spoonies don't really have a disposable income for things like gadgets and different technology. And so this is kind of a sensitive topic. However, some of us do have income to buy technology, and so we do have concerns about what might be the best way to transport our technology and which items might be the best ones to buy. And perhaps you're thinking about investing and you're considering which might be the best item for your disability. And so you might want a suggestion. But I do have some form of arthritic issue with my hands. They are calling what's going on with the nerves in my hand carpal tunnel, bilateral carpal tunnel. I don't think that it is carpal tunnel. It radiates from my head down through my neck, all the way down my shoulders and out to my fingertips. And so I'm unable to grip things. Several years ago, I used to make fun of people with the huge phones. However, as I've lost more and more control of my hands, I now have the biggest phone of this type that's available because it's easier for me to grip because I have big hands. And I put a case on it that is soft and a little grippy because it makes it easier to grip. And this is just to protect it and maintain the integrity of it, because I do tend to sell them so that I can trade up for a newer one. And then I put a cover on the front because you guys all know we tend to drop things, and then when we drop them and the glass breaks, you have to pay to get the glass repaired, right? And then I actually put one of these cases on the top of it. I just dropped my driver's license out of this, and I'll tell you about that momentarily. But I put one of these big cases on here, which is kind of funny. Those of you who talk to me online, you know I have a lot of Hello Kitty stuff. It's actually really good for people with chronic illness because they were made to make it easier for children to grip on devices, which makes it easier for people with chronic illness to grip on devices, and it makes it bigger. So people laugh when they see my phone because it makes the phone look huge, but it makes it easier for me to grab on it. I used to get these kind of phone cases, you know, the ones with the hard shell on the inside and then the soft shell that wraps around it. Well, I won't name the company, but they don't make these as good as they used to, and they break a lot easier than they used to when they first came out, and so they're pretty much garbage now, so I'm no longer happy with them. So the reason why my driver's license fell out of here is because on a really bad day, really bad pain day, I go through my life just having my cell phone. I store my credit card in my phone, and I can leave my house with just my phone, and I have my driver's license in there, and I'm ready to go. If I need my ID, I have my ID, and I can use my phone to pay for things. So that's ultra lightweight for me. Then, if I need to carry a little bit more, the reason why I chose this wallet is because my phone actually fits down into this wallet like this, and I'm ready to go. Most stores have the little customer loyalty tag things. Some banks actually have where you can get your bank card that size. My bank doesn't yet. But now that they're going to the chips, I don't know if they would have a chip reader card that size. But you know, pretty much anything that you need to fit in a purse, you could put in here. I throw a teeny tiny lip gloss in here. I've seen companies that make even mascara that's small. You can put an eyeliner in there. I put all of my different cards and stuff. I keep a pen in here so that I can sign for things if I need to. I have all different kinds of loyalty cards. I have free gifts for different stores in here. All of my health insurance stuff. And actually I have a duplicate driver's license in here. So, because, you know, Spoonies forget stuff. So, if I can't get away with just carrying my phone, this is what I try to use as a purse as much as possible, because a lot of us Spoonies have trouble with being able to carry a real purse anymore. So sometimes I find that I'm trying to go somewhere and I want to look cute, so I might take my tiny purse, and in my tiny purse I can fit maybe, I love this tiny purse because it actually has a little place for me to hook my key on there, so I can get my key out. I can put my phone in there. I can put maybe some lip gloss, and I can put my ID, and I'm ready to go. So I like to carry teeny tiny purses. Some people think the teeny tiny purse is impractical. So I have a slightly bigger teeny tiny purse that I can fit more in. And I love this one because it has a place to actually put different cards in. And this one could really be an everyday Spoonie purse. You could carry it by the hand. You could actually wrap it on your arm if you needed to. I think it's a practical everyday Spoonie purse, but you couldn't really put so much stuff in there that you could make it so heavy that you could weigh yourself down. So I think something about this size would be something you may want to consider if you think that any of my options that I've suggested smaller than this are no-goes for you. An item that I don't use as much as I used to when I was working, but still has a place and a use for me, is my tablet. When I was working, I used my tablet all the time because I could not carry my laptop around the classroom, and carrying my phone around the classroom was inappropriate. So my tablet was a great middle ground. And also at the time, the huge phones were not available. I had a case on it at the time. I did not like the case because it was a hard case. I am right now waiting to be able to afford to get a rubbery case similar to the rubbery case that I have on my phone. That's what I'm planning on putting on my tablet. I also think that's probably why I don't use my tablet right now very much, because I do drop things a lot. I don't have a lot of control over my hands, and I invested a lot of money in my tablet, and I'm probably afraid that I will drop it. You can't really tell, but I have the film over my tablet as well to protect the screen. So I do need to put a rubbery case on it. One thing that I invested in for a computer that I will show you momentarily, but does work for my tablet as well, is this, which I recommend that you get. And these are really inexpensive. This is what they call neoprene. It's really stretchy. And this will protect it some, but you can't use it while it's in here. But this helps when you're transporting it. And they feel really squishy and jelly, and they're really, really cool. They're great cases, and they're stretchy. So you always want to protect any device that you have because devices are investments. So neoprene cases are really cool. I am pretty brand loyal. However, I do have another product that is not the same brand. I have to keep this handy because there are some products that you do need a PC for. There are reasons that you do need to have a PC available. I totally acknowledge that. This baby I have had for years. I am very fortunate that it continues to work for me because there are programs on here that I do need. I bought this years ago when netbooks first came out, and it's still kicking. And I actually bought it before I really needed something this small because of necessity or ease of lightness. And like I was saying, I bought the neoprene sleeve to fit on here. It will stretch and go on to this computer. And I show pictures of the size of this compared to the computer that I record my web shows on. So you'll see that momentarily. But this is another computer option for you. It is less expensive than the Apple products. Use out of for me was my Apple Watch. And my Apple Watch has literally been a lifesaver. I had a situation when I was at work where a student fell and had a concussion. And because of my inability to move around as quickly as I may have needed to and find my phone, I was able to scroll through my watch and call for help on my watch. And that's something that not every watch can do, and not something that every smart device can do over every platform. And so I have to say that in my case, I have found a lot of use from having the operating system that I use. Every person's different. I know that when I first got my first Apple product, that I never thought that I would buy one. I thought that they were way too expensive, but that the value that you get out of them and the accessibility that's available to them really outweighs the price. And I also know from pricing different accessibility items that accessibility tools can get really expensive anyway. So it's one more thing to invest in, and you do get what you pay for, and in many cases you get a lot of value for the products. What I found for me after I had kids and I had to carry that huge diaper bag to fit every single one of my kids' items in it was the second I could be liberated to the teeny tiny purse, that's what I wanted. And then I found that I had all of my girly things that I wanted to carry, so I ended up in a mid-sized purse again. And now that I have my chronic illnesses, I just don't have the strength to carry even a mid-sized purse on a daily basis anymore. And so I'm right back down to a teeny tiny purse. When I was working, I needed to carry a briefcase to carry all of my papers back and forth from school to home so that I could grade papers, and also a school computer. But I found that even that was too heavy for me to manage. So I had to figure out creative ways to carry my papers back and forth. And what I figured out was that I could carry the tiniest laptop possible. And that's when I ended up buying my MacBook Air, because it was so small and compact, but it still got the job done. And then I found these purses that fit both the computer and then also all of my other devices in it. So even though it was still large and it carried a lot of stuff, it was as small as it could possibly be. So it was the perfect compromise for what I needed at the time. It was the absolute smallest briefcase that I could possibly carry. And it's funny to call it a briefcase because it's actually the average size purse for normal people. However, it was my briefcase. Now, I rarely ever actually carry those purses on a daily basis. Usually, that's the purse that I carry when I'm taking a trip and I need all of my devices at once, like an extended trip to a friend's house for several hours or maybe overnight or something, then I'll take that bag. But if I'm just running out shopping or something or to a gathering, then I wouldn't carry that bag. But I still have it available as an option when I need my computers and everything. So it's cool that, we have those options available to us that we wouldn't have had years ago. So I just wanted to tell you a few of the things that I've gotten out of my iOS devices and my OS devices that you may not be familiar with, that I've been able to use. If you follow me on Spoonie Style on Facebook, I do push out information when I find something cool, a new accessibility feature that I use. Maybe you are thinking about getting a device and you're not sure which one to get, and you were not aware which accessibility features were available. So here's just a little bit of information for you and how I use mine. For me, I use the talk to text feature because I have trouble sometimes with reading and looking at the monitor for long periods of time. So I speak into my phone or I speak into my computer and it will actually type what I'm saying. And it's not a third-party program. It's actually built into the devices already. So I don't have to buy anything extra. It's just something that I turn on and it starts to do it for me. Also, I can highlight text and ask it to read the text to me. And I set the speed of how fast I want the voice to do it. And again, that's not something that's third party. I just tell it to do it and then it does it for me. And then there's that Hey Siri feature that's hands-free. And I know that there is also something like that for Android devices too. And then there's the No Blue Light at Night feature, which I highlighted for people on my webpage already. You can set it. I know there's been research that shows that having the blue light on before sleep interrupts your sleep pattern. So you can actually set your phone so that you don't have blue light after a certain time at night. And then that way that helps with your sleep pattern at nighttime. That's pretty cool. Also, you can set your brightness. Because I have photophobia, I have my brightness set as dark as it will possibly go. And then also there's a 3D motion feature that some people really think is cool, but it really bothers me and it affects my dizziness. So So I'm able to turn that off so that it doesn't affect my dizziness. And then there's like some other features with the 3D look of the actual device, like the icons, and I turned that off too. So it's pretty cool that they give you the options to turn things off. They know that some of their features are actually bad for people with disabilities, and it's pretty cool that they have the foresight to acknowledge that and allow you to turn those things off. And then, like I mentioned before with the watch, there's the communication between devices. When I was working, one thing that was helpful about being able to carry my iPad around the classroom was that I was able to answer text messages and even my telephone on my iPad or on my laptop. Of course, I wouldn't want to do that while I was supposed to be working, but if I were on a break, I was able to do that without having to go back to my phone. And of course, now that I'm at home, it's the same thing. I don't actually have to get back to my telephone to answer my phone or to answer a text message. And of course, I can do the same thing for my watch. I don't have to walk back over to my phone in order to answer a text message or to answer the phone or even an email. And those are things that some people consider a convenience, but for someone with a chronic illness, it could even be a life-saving issue, but it could also, it could just be not even a convenience, but it's an actual lifestyle issue for us. The phone is ringing, and it could be a doctor or it could be a loved one, and we just don't have the breath or the stamina to be able to rush back to the phone to answer it. So we're able to answer it and get that phone call in a timely fashion. So those are features that I really appreciate and are awesome that they're available to me. And so, like I said, I was a little shy about sharing these early on because I know that they're not something that everybody can afford. But my items I bought at the time when I was working. And so now I have to really take care of them because I don't really have the money to replace them. Just because you're a Spoonie doesn't mean that you don't have the income to purchase it. And I also know that some people have GoFundMe accounts because some of these items, like I said, are really life-changing or life-saving for you. So who's to say that you won't be able to purchase these items, right? So I wanted to give you this information so that you had it available. And then also, I know that there are tons of people who are able to still work, so you do have these options available to you. It was great chatting with you today about those different options for purses and bags and traveling light. I hope that you've learned some things that you had not previously considered and that you have some ideas for how you're going to develop your Spoonie style. Here on YouTube, feel free to leave messages and comments about the different posts that I put on here. However, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to weed through all of the comments that you leave here. So I recommend that you email me on my Gmail account. There is a Facebook page that you can go to and you can like, and I have daily questions there, and then also you can use that opportunity to post the answers to those questions and read what other people say and maybe meet some new friends.